Kayak Fishing Tales is brought to you by Ocean Kayak, makers of the Trident and Ultra series of fishing kayaks, and the Torque, which features a removable Minn Kota motor. Check them out at oceankayak.com.
A lot of people think I'm a little crazy for going after big game fish on my kayak. A lot of thought, preparation, and experience go into each one of our adventures to keep them as safe as possible. Staying safe kayak fishing starts with acknowledging the potential dangers and making smart decisions that minimize the risks. Now, I always tell new kayakers that the most important safety item they can bring with them out on the water is common sense. I know that sounds pretty simple, but too often I've watched kayak anglers get so excited about getting on fish that they leave their common sense on shore. Fortunately, most walk away with only a bruised ego and some lost gear. But things could have taken a turn for the worse. Every area that you'll fish has its own hazards. But weather is something that always needs to be taken into consideration. The further from shore you go, the bigger the body of water and the more exposed you are to wind and waves, the more dangerous weather becomes. The solution? Check the weather forecast as a habit before you head out. And if in doubt, don't paddle out. Now, overall, I consider kayak fishing to be a very safe sport. And by using some common sense and making conservative decisions, it's easy to be safe out there. But sometimes things just go wrong, and you need to be prepared when they do. That means being armed with the knowledge, the equipment, and the skills for dealing with situations that pop up. First and foremost, learn how to self-rescue. And if for some reason you can't reliably get yourself back into your kayak, you've got no choice. You've got to stay within easy swimming distance from shore. Secondly, you should always hit the water with a friend. Having a helping hand nearby is invaluable if a bad situation does pop up. It's also a really good idea to always let someone know where you're going to be fishing and what time to expect you back. So if in the worst case scenario, if you do start getting blown out to sea, they know where to come looking for you. When it comes to safety equipment, here are a few safety items that you'll always find on me or my kayak, whether I'm bass fishing on a small lake or tuna fishing offshore. First off, and the most important, is your PFD. And unless you're fishing in only 2 feet of water in the flat somewhere, you need to be wearing it. Next off, my Standard Horizon HX 851 VHF radio with a built-in GPS. I also always bring with me my cell phone in a dry box and a first aid kit that's in a dry bag. Keep in mind, just bringing safety gear isn't enough. It's also got to be accessible when you need it. For example, I know of a guy who, because of a faulty internal bait tank, flooded the hull of his kayak. And though he had a handheld bilge pump with him, it was inside the hull and he couldn't reach it when he needed it most. Now that's some tough luck, but we can learn from it. Keep your safety gear somewhere that you can reach it. And if you flip your kayak, make sure that it'll float or is attached to the kayak. This is just a quick rundown of some of your safety considerations, and you're going to want to know the issues that relate to your area specifically. Until next time, I'm Jim Sammons, and that's your kayak fishing tip of the week.
For more tips and your chance to win a fantastic kayak fishing package that includes an Ocean Kayak Trident fishing kayak and EXOFFICIO clothing, visit KayakFishingShow.com.